Hello, this is another exciting episode of your program You.Gov, telling you all you need to know about government functions or government responsibilities as well as citizens' obligations. We've been looking at various concepts of government in the past weeks. We've looked at democracy, we've looked at the rule of law, we've looked at federalism as well as fiscal federalism. This week we have a very exciting topic for you, and it is taxation. We're looking now at citizens' obligations. I am Itohan Olomu-Agbodo. We'll let you know more after this time out.
Level Plus app is bigger and better. Watch all our shows with just a click.
Let him have the right to decide what happens with your body.
Watch inspiring, informative, and entertaining programs. You can comment, like, and share. Watch our live TV and web TV on your mobile devices. Watch the big stories in real time or when you have the time. Experience Level Plus app right now. Download Level Plus app on Android, iOS, and BlackBerry. Go to Google Play Store, Apple App Store, or Windows Phone Store. Welcome to the bigger picture. Level Plus, beyond television. With every story comes an inside story, shaping thoughts, opinions, and driving the conversation. Nations, governments, economies, and even the environment. The causes, consequences, or benefits. The analysis makes it clear. We take a close look at every possible angle. No matter the story, we take you inside the news.
Inside the News, showing on the station.
The talk never stops, whether politics, leadership, or economies in Africa. The issues, the facts, and all the sides. Your views matter. Let's discuss.
Join us on the agenda, showing only on Level Plus.
You're welcome back. This is still You.Gov, and this week, as I said, we're talking about taxation. Generally, tax means levies imposed by governments on their citizens to meet one or two obligations of the government, like the construction of roads or one infrastructure or the other. This week, we have a tax expert, a tax consultant who will be telling us all about taxation, especially as an obligation of citizens. And I have none other than Barrister Chukwuemeka Eze. We are right here at his office, and he'll be telling us more on taxation.
Taxation or tax has many definitions, and I'll only inform you that taxation is the art of making payments imposed by appropriate or legitimate authorities. So if a payment is imposed as levy or tax or rate, as the case may be, by an individual, a non-governmental organization, a non-government operating agency, definitely you should not call that one taxation. Because I know some people say, we pay Agberus, we pay Omonile, we pay Onile, we pay this, we pay that. All those ones don't constitute taxation. It is the one imposed by appropriate or legitimate authorities, governance authorities. Those ones amount or come under taxation. And most times some people refer to all of them holistically as an internally generated revenue. We have the federal government, we have the state government, we have the local governments. At the federal level, we have the Federal Inland Revenue Service. At the level of the states, we have the State Internal Revenue Service, sometimes called the State Boards of Internal Revenue. At the local government level, you have the revenue committees that collect these levies. So basically, the tier of government will determine the tax or levy collectible. and we have a law we call tax collection, an act of 1998, Act 21 of 1998, that empowers all the tiers of government to collect taxes, and they have been graded, those collectible at the federal level, the ones collectible at the state level, and the ones collectible at the local government levels. For instance, if you talk of companies income tax, it's collectible at the federal level, by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. Value added tax, the federal level. We have also withholding tax by corporate entities at the federal level. All those are collectible at the federal level. Then you have withholding tax by individuals, transaction involving individuals, personal income tax. We also have business premises levy. These ones are collectible at the state level. We have rates, we have fees that are collectible at the local government level. I think people are much more concerned about the utilization of the process of taxes collected. But in any case, for the purpose of your question, taxation is a global phenomenon. It is applied and collected in all countries of the world. Even the tax savings, places you call the tax savings, there are ways of collecting taxes or fees or levies, because if you want to know why, the purposes of taxation, you think of revenue, representation, reprising, and redistribution. These 4 R's, these 4 purposes, there is hardly any human activity that will not come within these 4. And these 4 applies to all countries of the world. They do not constitute phenomena understandable or applicable within Nigeria as an entity.
So, sir, what is double taxation? We keep hearing about double taxation. People say they have been taxed more than once. So what does that concept mean?
In any case, Nigerians prefer calling it multiple taxation, because when you say double taxation, it connotes a situation where Nigeria is collecting tax from somebody for a particular purpose, and before a foreign country is collecting tax from that same entity for that particular purpose. If you say double taxation, that is what strikes into mind. But when you use the word multiple taxation, it connotes, people tend to understand it that from the sensibility you have used it, that you collect a particular levy from the federal level on the same transaction, the state will collect on the same transaction, and possibly the local government might collect on the same transaction. That is what you regard as multiple taxation. I give you an example. NESRIA is National Environmental Sanitation. NESRIA is a federal government entity that collects levies on environment. So if they collect, and you have the State Ministry of Environment collecting levy, maybe you call it disposal levy or refuse disposal levy. Not exactly like LOMA, because in LOMA, a service is rendered. In taxation, a service need not be rendered to you. So it is not quid pro quo, that is to say tit for tat. You do for me, I do for you. You give government money, government returns a favor. No, in taxation, no favor may be returned. Substantially, no favor may be returned. So in LOMA activities, that's a Lagos Waste Management Agency levy. A service is rendered to you, so that is not taxation. But a situation whereby the State Ministry of Environment levies you, maybe because you use firewood, they say, maybe let's call it carbon levy. They collect from you, and the federal government collects through NESRIA, a fluxion levy, and the local government collects from you what they call refuse levy. All because they claim you are defacing the environment. This will amount to multiple taxation. But so the Joint Tax Board has a duty to ensure that there is no recurrence of incidents of collection from different tiers of government on the same transaction. But if there is disparity or variation of transactions, basically the levies can be imposed as the case may be. Section 24F of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, commands every citizen to declare his income tax honestly to appropriate authorities. So it is an imposition, it is something binding. It is not permissive. So it is a must that every person that earns income ought to declare that income honestly to tax collecting authorities. So where a citizen fails to do so, there are penalties imposed by law. Those penalties could be by way of payment of extra sums or going to prison or both. So any citizen that fails to abide by that obligation will be infringing on a particular law of the land. It could be the Companies Income Tax Act, it could be the Personal Income Tax Act, it could be the Stamp Duty Act, it could be the Value Added Tax Act, it could be so many other, like there's one we call the Taxes and Levies Approved List for Collection Act, which has been amended in 2015. So there are many of them, but for the essence of the public understanding the way taxation works, taxation is not something you get instant benefit of. So when you pay tax, it is expected that since representation is one of the purposes of taxation, in choosing the person that will represent you in government, you should choose that person that should be sensitive to your affairs. That when you pay this tax, the person will be your mouthpiece in a representative democracy to present your petition for amelioration of infrastructural decay in your community. And it is not that that must be done because you have paid tax, because definitely resources may not go around. This year it might go around for certain communities, another year for certain communities. So many Nigerians, they feel that they will not pay until they have amenities. That is not the way taxation runs. You will pay first because you have pain for payment. You will now be vigilant. Let me see the local government chairman that will come and be driving 10 cars. Let me see the governor that will have a retinue of 80 legal advisors. Is it from this my tax that they will be paying 80 people? Then citizens will protest. Citizens will no longer be lethargic. The docility within the populace will reduce. So it is a function. That's why it is said that there is a direct functionality between payment of taxes and representation and democratic functionality. So for democracy to work and work very well, it is evident that people ought to pay their taxes and insist that the right thing be done. But where they don't pay their taxes, they don't care how people are choosing to govern them. At the end of the day, they begin to murmur, quarrel with one individual for being a godfather. All this godfatherism, why is it thriving? Because people are not paying taxes. If they pay their taxes, they will be part of the process. They will refuse, after paying their taxes, for one man to take over the functions of the whole community. Citizens have a right to agitate. They have a right to ask that what we call in our own parlance, dividends of democracy. But in any case, it is not a right per se, a right that can be found in Chapter 4 of the Constitution. So it is not justiciable. You cannot go to court and say, because this amenity was not cited in my community, let the court compel the government to cite a particular project in my community. No court will grant that. So the right they have is the right of agitation, right to protest, right to complain to those that represent them. In fact, it is for that purpose that the whole country has been divided into constituencies, and to have representatives at the House of Reps, at the Senate, and at the state houses of assembly. So citizens have been given enough fora to give for their own representatives to protest. If these people don't actually represent them properly, they have pressure groups. They have non-governmental organizations. Citizens can make phone calls to their representatives. They can send emails. They can even organize peaceful demonstrations. They can carry placards. I mean, citizen vigilance is required. That is the most thing that is required after paying your tax. But not to go and sue somebody for not citing a particular project in your environment or in your community. That one is not allowed by law. And I know the citizens are very, very concerned why they should be paying taxes and they are not getting amenities. I think docility is the factor, because citizens also help by at the point of election, they'll be telling the representatives to settle them. They don't care what will happen after the election. So if citizens will diminish their request to be settled before these representatives go to the right place to represent them, so that these representatives will no longer see it as business of buy and sell. They will now know that, oh, I did not give my people anything. They found me worthy. They have sent me to this place. And I will ensure that the taxes that they have paid make a meaning. I will ensure that, and I know these constituency projects you talk about, when there is budget approval, when the appropriation bill is signed or approved or legislated upon, it is a product or another way of the legislators saying, my people want to see the evidence of payment of taxes. But the only problem is that when many of them get these constituency projects, they want to take the money, perform the contracts themselves, put the monies in their pockets, and at the end of the day, you won't see anything on the ground. But if they allow the executive to do it, and they insist on it, and they know how to go about it, definitely I'm sure by that time people will begin to get meaning, and people should begin to ask that budgets be published. You know that many budgets are not published, so people don't even know when some of these things are provided for in the budgets, these things are not performed, and the people don't know the contents of the budget. So at the end of the day, it's +1 - 5.
Wow, indeed, knowledge is power. We've been talking with Barrister Chukwuemeka Eze, who has been telling us all about taxation, especially as an obligation of citizens all over the world, not just in Nigeria. And I know you've learned one or two things from his discussion. We have some respondents on the streets of Lagos that answered our questions on our Street Teacher segment. Stay tuned. Every week on You.Gov, we bring you opinions of experts in various fields of government. We also try to balance it out by bringing you opinions of people on the streets. And that is what we call the Street Teacher. Stay tuned.
I thought some is a form of remitting the commission of a business you take in a year. A tax to the federal government. They use that to develop the nation, the country, the economy, or infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Because I thought I learned about the money that they make from the tax collection they have from IRS. Is it not FIRS? I know it's a very big amount.
Tax is a levy imposed on someone, levied on someone, which you pay monthly, or it depends on how you collect your salary or wages.
So do you think they work? What are taxes used for?
He's made so many things. Like the governments are repairing our roads, the schools, the government schools are there, and so many things.
A kind of money that is deducted or maybe by being paid by individual to the government to help the government to be able to do some social works. You know, in this country, a lot of people now, a lot of people in government, they are there to just eat money. So there's nobody that's really checking all those things. So when the people collect the money, they use it for other things that they are not supposed to use it for. So, but we thank God for this kind of government that we have now, maybe the Buhari government that is trying to checkmate some of these things. I just hope it can continue.
I just understand that we have two types of taxation, direct and indirect tax. I've forgotten the definition of taxation, you understand? But I just believe taxation is working in this country, you understand?
Taxation is one of the various media government use to generate revenue. It's one of the various financial media government use to generate revenue. We have federal inland revenue and at state level, state inland revenue. You see, that is to collect tax through the appointed parastatal. There is to collect tax from the citizens to the government so that the government can deliver. Because without taxation, there's no way government can do magic. Especially now that oil is disappointing. Oil has been the focus. Price of oil has gone down. So you won't be surprised if government is taking a collection of taxation seriously, especially in Lagos State. You see what Olomu-Agbodo said in recent time? He said that they wanted to make Lagos State zero dependence on federal allocation. Olomu-Agbodo knows what he's saying. He's talking about taxation.
Wow, interesting. A lot of responses out there on our Street Teacher segment. We also have some people who said the national anthem and those who recited the pledge to us. Why don't you take a listen?
The national anthem. I can try now, but it's been long.
Just try.
National anthem. I rise to compatriots. Are we?
Yes.
Nigeria's color be gather our leaders' rights. I don't forget to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, not much. I don't know what you mean by coat of arms.
Okay, what about the flag?
Okay,
What are the colors of our flag?
it's red and white now. I mean green, white,
Can you
green.
say that? Just say the colors of our flag.
The colors are green, white, green.
Okay.
Nigerian flag now.
Okay, so what do they represent? Which color?
I know the green is supposed to represent maybe agriculture, but I have forgotten what the white stands for.
Elements of the coat of arms of Nigeria, peace and unity, all this love, peace and unity, all those things.
Okay, what about our flag? What are the colors?
Green, white, green now. That
And
one.
what do they represent?
Yeah, green, peace and agriculture, all those things. I don't really know.
Can you sing the national anthem?
No, I can't sing that.
What about the pledge? National pledge.
I can't do that now.
So can you sing the national anthem?
That's serious.
What about the flag? What are the colors of our flag?
Green, white, green, sure.
All right. Coat of arms, you know the elements of the coat of arms.
Forgotten.
All right.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be useful and honest. Oh, I've forgotten.
Interesting. A lot of people have actually forgotten the national anthem. This is still You.Gov, and we have some tidbits for you. It's been an exciting episode of You.Gov. We talked about taxation this week, and we had an erudite legal practitioner, Barrister Chukwuemeka Eze, telling us all about taxation. Now, we want you to send your contributions to us. You can log on to www.loverplus.org. You can also send your answers to our questions on #You.Gov on our Kingstart page. I am Itohan Olomu-Agbodo, and I say bye for now.